you. I want to use these 30 minutes with Laura to the best that we can. So hello, everybody. This is Gail Birks. And once again, you are joining us on the next level as we talk about the readiness factor. And this month, I'm so excited because I have with us as our guest, Ms. Laura Berger, who is president of the Berdéo Group, and we're going to be talking about mentoring leaders and aspiring to reach the next level. And I want you to know this conversation started just like every one of my other conversations. We were having lunch, and all of a sudden, this conversation happened. And I noticed that I could see the people at the table next to us listening in, and people kept asking, "Can we help you? Can we help you?" And we'd look at them like, "You're interrupting the conversation thought here." So we decided to bring the conversation to you. But before I bring Laura to the screen to turn her loose, I want you to know a little bit about her. She is an exceptional coach of leaders globally. She's a columnist at the Forbes Coaches Council, Psychology Today, and best-selling author, while serving as a trustee at the Committee of Economic Development of the Conference Board. She is a certified executive coach and founder of the Berdéo Group and featured on ABC, CBS, CNBC, US News and World Report, Yahoo Finance, Self Magazine, and podcasts across the globe. So you know what? We're real fortunate to have her here right now. Her coaching style spans over 20 years. And let me tell you, folks, I could go on and on and on about this lady, but we only have 30 minutes. And just know that the richness of this conversation today, she and I are both members of the International Women's Forum. And that is, again, an arena for rich conversation. But without further ado, I'm going to bring this lady to the stage and welcome Ms. Laura Berger. Hello, lady. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, Gail. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see everyone, and then who is on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's wonderful to have everyone joining us from afar as well.
Yes. Well, when we talk about this whole topic of mentoring, what does that really mean?
Well, first and foremost, regardless of title, we all need mentors. So, and it's, mentors assist us in navigating our careers, the difficult challenges that come along the way. When you think about uncertainty during a transition, mentors are really beneficial in helping leaders transition into new companies, new roles, what have you. So as much as we often look at it through the lens of mentors for emerging leaders, yes. And the Wall Street Journal does an executive profile, and they highlight the mentors of those executives that they're profiling. So we all have mentors.
Yes. And I think if there's anyone who believes that you can do it yourself, I strongly consider that you revisit it. Now, how did you get into this business of leaders guiding leaders? Because you certainly are a leader.
Well, thank you very much. Particularly when I created Berdéo Group back in 2005, part of our business model was mentoring, because it was helping leaders move through pipeline, position, and perception. So those were the three areas. A lot of our focus was on women and helping them move through those three areas. And we also mentor men as well, because men want to move into higher positions and move up the pipeline so that they can do that. And so it was just literally weaved into our business model. I have always had the desire to elevate women to the C-suite. And so that was kind of the impetus of it. And as I said, as we've just continued to work with leaders across the globe, we've involved both men and women.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's you know, there is the myth that people have of, well, if I have the right credentials, if I get the right experience, then that's enough. And it really isn't. And I think that mentors are people that are going to tell you, number one, what you need to hear, in addition to what you need to know, and not so much what you want to hear. Would you say that's kind of a good assessment and assignment? We are kind of that conscious that sits on your shoulder.
Yes.
And
yes.
and guide you back to that road of reality that we all need to keep in mind.
Absolutely. It makes me think of a story. This was a brilliant female tech leader, and she was taking on extensive responsibility, and it came to light that her peers were making more money than she was, and she was taking on more responsibility. She went back and she had a conversation with her husband, and her husband was like, yeah, you do, but you make good money. And then so she came back to me and she's like, I really make good money. And I said, yes, you do. And what is getting in the way of, because you have the experience, you're operating at a certain level, to your point, Gail, of, hey, you know, they have the right experience, but there's something getting in the way of them asking for a raise, or asking, in this case, to be equally compensated.
Sure.
And then, you know, sometimes it's hard when you have family members that are feeling like don't rock the boat also, because that comes into play as well. And she's a mom. She has a baby. She had a second baby on the way. So there's all these dynamics that, you know, create a sense of fear and uncertainty in asking for what you deserve, and helping her move through that, and literally crafting a letter and positioning it as, you know, aligning it with the company's objectives and the company's mission. We got her a 23% increase in a promotion. And that was a mentoring situation where she had the experience. She was talented and a rock star, but the self-limiting belief in her was taking away from her ability to you know, go to bat for herself.
To achieve. And I encounter that a lot when I coach women executives, and giving them permission to take back their power is, you know, and a lot of people take that for granted, but no, you sometimes have to give people that permission. You own it. Read the resume. I read it. The credentials are there. You have the capability to do, so own it, do it, you deserve it. And just understanding that we've worked hard for this, so why can't we celebrate it?
Yes.
Why are we not celebrating it? So I can truly relate to that that comment and that example. And I think we've all been through it. And for us, we've got to be able to walk the talk. And it's, that probably sometimes is the hardest part, because you end up wearing out shoe leather on certain occasions and instances, but it's the necessity. If we're going to coach it, we've got to be able to walk it and talk it.
You're absolutely right. May I add just a layer of a story to bring forward how we all need mentors regardless of position and title? This happened to be a leader who was up internally for the CEO position of a company, and she knew the director on the company who happened to be a friend casually who was on the nominating committee. And her belief was, oh, I can't, ask her what's going on with the search, because they also had hired an outside search company for this. And I share this with you because we often hear, you need to network, you need to tap into your network, but there's something that gets in the way of tapping into, your network. And it, again, is, I can't do that because of this, whatever it is, whatever is getting in the way of it. And a mentor can help someone move through that, because again, it's about uncertainty. And so you can help that person move through that. And in the end, she scheduled coffee with the director of the nominating committee, and the director opened up in ways that they could open up, and she became CEO of a publicly traded company. So it applies to anyone, everything, any level. It doesn't matter.
Everything. Yeah. So, and that's kind of a great segue when we talk about, so who drives the conversation when you're talking about mentoring and coaching? How is it initiated? Yeah. And how is it maintained, and how do you keep it going?
I think it's important to have the mentee be very clear with what their goals and objectives are, either within the organization and where they want to elevate to. And depending on the relationship that's established up front, it can be one of give and take in driving the dialogue. What I mean by that is, there may be times where the mentee is very uncomfortable with doing something specific, and the mentor can help be an accountability partner to nudge, so I think it ebbs and flows. It's like a dance. In an ideal world, the mentee would drive the conversation, but in reality, that's not always the case, because there's a lot that a mentee doesn't know that a mentor does know. And I think it's important to help bring that out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know some of that. We've got a LinkedIn comment, and it said, I remember a video of Gail's where she talked about making time to mentor others, or something to that effect, because we all don't get there by ourselves, by the mentee, but the mentee has to be in it also. And it goes to that point that you just made. It's just, and then another comment that again came from LinkedIn, that it's a matter of, we have to continue to grow. And I think that we all, over time, have that fear of the success factor. Can I absorb it? Will I be accepted because of it? And women as well. And women seeking other women. The other day, last year, I reconnected with my mentor of my very first internship. Now, both of us got a few years under our belt right now, but when I speak to her, it's still as if I'm that intern in college talking to her, and I'm all ears. And so those relationships never end. The chapter might end as they send you on your way, but being able to just revisit and reconnect is something that I have found over years to be priceless. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. It just reminds me of a mentor that I have had throughout my life, where at different inflection points, I can pick up the phone and be like, whoa, hey, I feel like I'm throwing spaghetti up against a wall. Can you help me out here?
Yeah. And being able to do that. We've got another LinkedIn question for you. And is there a right way to approach someone about mentoring you? But before you answer that, I want to ask a question, a pre-question. What is the difference between mentoring and coaching?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so
That's a loaded
coaching,
question.
yeah, it is. Okay, so coaching is much more helping a person navigate and come up with their own solutions to the challenges that that are before them. And coaching is, they say within coaching, your client has all the answers. Like that's kind of what the essence of traditional coaching is. Mentoring is a little bit different. It's more of a consultant, I would say, a consultant who has all this bandwidth of knowledge that they can pull from in a toolbox and serve it up and say, here, try this, or have you thought about this? So it's a little bit different. It is nuanced, absolutely. And there are times where just in our own work where I have a coaching hat on, and then I kind of shift and I put on the other hat.
Yeah, it's like one hat, but you can like turn it sideways, front, back, and whatever. I do the same on occasion as well. It is such, we've got some people in LinkedIn are sitting in their comments, but is there anyone on the call with us live right now who has any comments or wants to jump in? We've got someone who said they've been fortunate to use the same mentor for 40 years. And how has that evolved? If I can get you to talk about that.
So I have a mentor that began as my sophomore English teacher. I used to write on my paper, it said there's more to the story. And I just spoke to him today. We still meet monthly and have conversations. We've gone from my English teacher to the principal of my high school, to one of my bosses, to somebody that he and I co-wrote curriculum, social emotional curriculum for the state of Indiana. And he has done some consulting and training for me. I have for him. And we just, to this day, he invested in helped me be the professional I am. He still sends me books. I got a book assignment. Parker Palmer is my latest book assignment, and he'll send me a book and say, read this. We're going to have a discussion on like June 15th. So be ready.
Yeah. The friendship part of it is priceless. It is so priceless. Well, we've got 10 more minutes to go, and I'd love to hear just some quick tips from you, Laura, that people can consider and think about. And guests, please feel free to join in or text in with us to join this conversation. Most people, and one of the things that as a woman leader of color, what could you, and you've coached and mentored people all over the world, but is there anything different that you could share for leaders and women, especially of color, who are moving up that ladder and want to continue moving successfully?
So I think what's most important in mentoring is to be sure that you're in a safe environment, like psychologically safe. And so with that comes some, conversations up front between each other that need to occur, whatever that looks like. And because it just makes me think of, when we're babies. I'm going to share another story from the lens of psychological safety. Think about a child when you're at a diner and you see a little child running away from their mom and going under the table, and maybe, you know, a fork drops and the mom is sitting back and kind of looking, and the child is looking back but still under the table, and then but keep looking back and looking, is mom there, is mom yelling at me, is mom, and what that is it's a secure base, like go out, explore, but I can look back and mom is going to be there, and mom is going to, you know, let me go out and navigate. So I think what's most important is to have dialogue around what that means for you, as you're, you know, moving through the mentoring, the mentorship, and kind of set that foundation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, and what I've also learned over the years, not only in my own walk, but in coaching and mentoring others, is that you have to take that moment to understand the full rules of engagement.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I mean by psychological safety.
Yeah. And while there may be a few other rules or terms of engagement that might apply to me versus maybe some of my counterparts, when you're moving up that ladder of success, it's pretty straightforward. And it blurs in terms of some of the other outside pieces. And I usually always ask the same questions to everybody, regardless of whether you're male, female, black, white, or otherwise. And those questions are, do you have a network sponsor inside? Do you have a network sponsor outside? Who can you reach to and brainstorm with if you need to? How much latitude do you have for error, if any at all? What are your aspirations? In other words, yes, Connie wrote in the chat box, do your homework. Have you done your homework? Because when you decide you're going to interview for that position, or you're going to move into that opportunity, have you fully prepared? Because if they say yes, be careful what you ask for.
Right.
Because at that time, the expiration date can be realized rather quickly. So it's a bittersweet success pill when you look at it, when you think about it. And I think that goes back to your first comment of, we all need somebody to mentor us and keep us conscious.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and you know, building on what you just shared in terms of what, as a mentor, you want to create a space where this person can bring themselves fully. And if it actually reminds me of a conversation that I had with a gentleman who I have been mentoring, who is from India. And I don't understand what is going on for him, but he was sharing with me openly how he doesn't feel that he can act a certain way in front of his male colleagues. Wow. That are very much, you know, aligned with who he is culturally. Now, have I had that experience? No, I haven't. But just being able to just help him map that out for himself, in a safe space, is, and ask questions of like, okay, well, you know, what can you do, and who can you reach out to, and who, because sometimes we get blinded. We're kind of like this, we're looking like this, and we want to expand that for them. So
and your level of success, and I'm talking timeline of success, depends upon it. depends upon it. There are certain things, yes, you can do by yourself, but that's about this much of the timeline. The majority of it, you need your backup, you need your team, you need that group that's going to be there with you, for you, and reinforce the foundation that you have desired to own. So I love it. I just love the fact that also a mentor does not have to be older. You want to
right.
chat on that one.
Right.
They don't have to be older than you. They can be younger. So, what are your thoughts about that as well?
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't call her a mentor. I would call her more of an advisor to me, because she has a specialized expertise in AI, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. And she's younger than me.
Oh, we froze there. You froze just a little bit, so we lost that last comment. I
can hear you. Hello?
Okay, you're back.
I'm back. Oh my goodness. Yes. The last comment was, I think it's really important to move across generations, because we can learn so much through different generations.
Yeah. So don't get caught in the stigma of they've got to be older, they've got to have progressives, they got to have salt and pepper hair. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. Well, Laura, we've got a couple more minutes. Are there any other points of reference that you can share with our listening audience? We're getting some really good comments there. Really appreciative about the comments in the chat from LinkedIn. They've been busy blowing us up again. What can you leave our guests for today?
I want to go back to the importance, like when you get on a lot of mentoring discussions, they talk about networking and asking for your raise and what you deserve and so forth. And what this one thought that I want you to walk away with is tune into your body, because your body drives your behavior. And I'm going to give you an example. Had a call with an SVP who was sharing with me that she really wanted to get on some global projects. And I said, well, who do you know? And she said, well, I used to work with this guy. He was my peer, but he's moved up 3 levels. And, I don't really talk to him anymore. It's been years and years and years. This was pre-COVID when I had this conversation. So people were in the office and so forth. And I said to her, well, when you worked with him, how was your relationship? She's like, oh my God, we were like, 2 peas in a pod. We were driving all these initiatives, this and that. So she really had an excellent relationship with him.
Yeah.
But in her mind, the way she was behaving was, I can't go talk to him. He's too busy. He's 3 levels higher now. Even though I want to get on a global, project, I'm not going to do that. And I was thinking maybe he was located in another office, and I said, well, where is he? And all of a sudden she says to me, he's 2 offices down. And for the last year, I have been walking around the opposite direction and avoiding his office.
Oh my.
That is somatic intelligence. That is your body, telling you, oh, I'm in fight, flight, appease or freeze, avoid mode. And so I'm going to physically go a different direction. So tap into your body and see what how your body is responding, and try to ascertain, okay, is this helping me achieve this outcome, or is it debilitating me? And so I think we have it in ourselves to really make a difference when it comes to tapping into the body.
Absolutely, absolutely. And once you get over that understanding of what is my fear of success, sky's the limit. And just that one little suggestion took her to the stratosphere.
It did. She got on all the global projects. She walked right down to his office. I mean, she had to, it was physical.
Two doors down.
Yeah, 2 doors down. Yeah.
Two doors down. Well, you know what? As always, Laura, this has just been a treat for me. And I want to be able to share with people, if they want to continue a conversation with you, that this is how you can reach Laura at the Berdeo Group, 877-233-3450. And it's L Berger at berdeogroup.com. So you can also reach me at the same number that's on the screen as well, 954-476-3525, and visit the website, www.cma-ent.com. I want to thank you for joining us this month for the Readiness Factor and mentoring leaders aspiring to reach the next level with my friend and guest, Laura Berger, president of the Berdeo Group. Laura, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much. This was lots of fun. Thanks for all the questions and comments, everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Bye, Con.